So this is going to be a bit of a different video from the ones that I've made so far. uh so this video I'll be explaining to you guys the skills that I've decided to take upon hand that I will use to build myself to become a better person. So when someone mentions sales, people think of, buying and selling and ultimately just trying to convince your prospect or your lead or your potential lead that whatever product that you're selling to them is going to benefit them. And yeah, that is surface level. However, it goes deeper than that. And sales is, I wrote these key words down. So sales consists of communication, discipline, and psychology, and confidence in being able to obviously handle rejection. Because at some point in time, if you're a salesman or a saleswoman, you're going to face a lot of rejections, and yeah, sometimes it does mess up with your emotions. You're going to spiral. You might just like throw tantrums here and there, but at the end of the day, that's just part of the process, and that's what sales is all about. So for me, I decided to take this skill because yeah, I do want to make money, but at the same time, it just goes deeper than just selling. It goes way deeper than just selling. So I'll be explaining how I can link these five keywords to myself and the things that I will be doing in order to become the best sales version, the best salesman that I can possibly be. So with communication, when I'm speaking to a client or a potential lead, it is all about just confidence. So I need to know the product that I'm selling. I need to be sort of an expert or have an idea about what I'm trying to sell. So for example, if I'm working with a fitness coach, I can't just not know anything about fitness. I need to have at least the basic knowledge about fitness. If someone is trying to sell a fitness program and I'm the appointment setter, it is my duty to essentially have idea about what goes on in the fitness industry, the type of nutrients that the client must intake, the type of workouts, the split, things like this. Because having basic knowledge about your product would take you so far, because when a customer or a client or a lead ask for certain questions that they're not sure about, you can help them, and then you helping them will kind of just bring this sort of like trust, because okay, this guy knows what he's talking about, maybe I should give this a shot. And then it potentially that could become your prospect and whatnot, and essentially that could become your client. With communications, it is important to not speak to, like, you can't be too professional when it comes to sales. You need to have a bit of personality to yourself. And with communication, it's all about just having that friendly, brotherly tone. Like for me speaking, I'm a guy, so I'm gonna have that friendly, brotherly tone, and that will allow familiarity between me and the lead or the prospect. And essentially, that's just going to eliminate any sort of like awkwardness or any sort of like fake professionalism out of the way, just so that it can things can go as smooth as they can. So the second point or the second word is discipline. Now this is a big one, because I'll be honest with you guys, I've tried sales and I failed at it. because I wasn't disciplined enough. So I joined an appointment setting group, and at first, yeah, things were going well. I was shooting messages on Instagram and stuff. This is remote sales, by the way. I was shooting messages on Instagram, trying to find a client I can work for. Regarding it could be anything really, whether it was Airbnb, maybe they were selling an Airbnb, like an Airbnb course or a fitness course or just anything. I was just trying to shoot DMs on Instagram and potentially land a client. But the problem is, yes, I didn't have the discipline, but I also had zero confidence because I didn't know what I was doing. So with that, I ended up getting someone on board. Yeah, we spoke, we went back and forth on Instagram. However, judging by my tone, they knew that I might have been like a little bit of a liability because I didn't really understand the concept of sales, and I didn't know the principles, the basics. So they kind of left me stranded, but I got the lesson. I learned my lesson. So discipline plays a big role. You need to be able to be consistent when it comes to sales. You can't just go one day in and then one day relax, one day in and then one day just chill. You have to constantly be at it 24/7. And this is something that I've said to myself that obviously me starting again, this is me starting again, by the way. I will be disciplined enough to stand on my words and essentially just do this day in and day out continuously until one day I'll be able to have my own industry where I can employ salespeople and essentially just get them to work and do the sales parts for me. But as for now, I need to be able to know what I'm talking about. I need to be able to know what I'm doing within the industry because it's very broad. There's a lot of people in sales, especially remote sales. You see all of these people on Instagram and stuff, and it is very big and it is very real as well. All that matters is discipline and being able to willingly put in the work, and things will go right. So the third point is psychology. Now, this links back to communication because psychology plays a huge role in sales. You need to be able to sell. Selling links back to psychology. What is it? What does the product really have? What does the product have that distinguish itself from the other product? You need to be able to think of it as that way. And you need to be able to learn the type of people who you'll be selling to. So what I learned is that there are two types of people. There are logical people who base their thinking on logic. So they'll question things like, okay, is this going to give me a good ROI, return on investment? Is this beneficial? Do I have enough money to conquer this, or do I have enough time to even think about, putting such to like invest in such things? And logical people tend to uh not hold themselves back, but they tend to sit back a little bit and kind of think and process through the things that they will have to have in sort of way. And then the second type of people is emotional buyers, and these people tend to base their thinkings on their current emotion. So I've been an emotional buyer and I've been a logical buyer. But most people um base their thinking on emotion. It's not bad. However, you need to have the drive to actually like to be able to invest in such thing that okay, it's not because I'm desperate that I need to get this. If I It needs to be some sort of way where you're thinking, if I get this, I need to be able to put in the work 110% to be able to make this flourish, or to be able to benefit from whatever program they're invested in. So emotional buyers tend to buy things based on how they are feeling, and they tend to, whatever situation that they're going through, whether they're broke, they will have whatever is left in their bank account. They tend to just invest everything in the product because they think that okay, if I invest in the product, I know I'm going to work hard for it and then hopefully reap something out of it. This is dangerous in some way because you are putting yourself at risk. If you know that you don't have in like if you don't have enough resources to be able to invest in such products, you shouldn't do it. However, you shouldn't completely throw it under the bus. You should at least try to save a couple thousands or a couple hundreds, whatever, however the product might cost, in order to in order to not think on emotion, but rather just use your logic to invest, because then you will have some money saved up in case of an emergency or whatever. But at the same time, you're investing in some sort of skill that you can learn and hopefully reap something out of it. The last thing I want to talk about is confidence. Yes, you need to be able to be confident when you're selling something. That confidence is really broad. Even when you're speaking to people, you need to be able to be confident. Me speaking to you guys right now, yes, confidence is being displayed. However, I'm so new to YouTube and all of this stuff, so I might fumble my words or I might say the wrong thing. But at the end of the day, I'm putting myself out there and I'm displaying confidence, which is all that matters. Um, with confidence, you need to be able to be calm and grounded. And I say this because you can't be someone that's agitated. Nobody is going to trust an agitated seller that is just pushing the product down your throat because they want you to buy it so bad. No, you need to be able to be grounded. And when you're grounded, things like rejection and dealing with, rude prospects and whatnot won't be a problem to you because you're grounded. You can control your emotions. And if, things go left, you'll be able to withhold or trust yourself not to mess things up. And at the end of the day, you will get rude prospects and rude leads and whatnot. But if we link it back to communication and you're able to, you know, remove awkwardness and have that familiarity tone or that brotherly tone to you, they will see you as a friend or someone they can entrust essentially, and they will they might think, okay, this isn't too bad. Let me just go back to um what this isn't too bad. Let me just see what it's saying, or let me just invest and see the outcome. So they will essentially take the risk of going back and coming back to you, and essentially they will change their mind and whatnot. As long as you remain grounded and when they reject you, you don't really chase them as much. So this is all that I was able to jot down. Obviously, with sales is broad. There's things like objection handling. There's things like hitting your targets, OTEs, on target earnings. It is really broad. But these are the basics that when it comes to sales, you need to be able to uh, imprint and kind of download it in your mind. Currently, I'm speaking to you guys, but I'm every day I'm actively trying to download this in my mind because these are kind of the foundations when it comes to sales. Obviously, there is more to it, but if you can have all of these four, you can go far in the sales industry. And this is something that I'm trying to do. I'm trying to fit myself into because the opportunities in sales are really just endless, to be honest. And it's something to give is something that is worth giving a shot at and seeing how far we can go in sales. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If I missed out or any points or I said the wrong thing, please let me know in the comments. Uh, I will post more videos on sales, and I will take you guys on a journey with me to becoming a good salesman or the best salesman that we can possibly be. And like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you were able to take something from this. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Stay tuned. I'll be posting more throughout obviously the summer and whatnot. And yeah,